Good night and welcome to Global Insight News, where we tackle the most pressing issues of our time. Tonight's focus is nuclear weapons and the growing political and global tensions around their use. To help us understand this complex and critical topic, we are joined by Luisa, a renowned political scientist specializing in nuclear disarmament, and Maria Jose, our correspondent reporting from Eastern Europe.
Yeah, thank you for having me. This is an urgent and very important topic.
Before we discuss the broader implications of nuclear weapons, let's turn to Maria Jose, who is living on the ground near the Ukrainian border. Maria Jose, can you give us an update on the situation there?
Good evening. The situation here is highly volatile. Russia, as you know, has the largest nuclear arsenal in the world, with over 5,800 warheads. In the light of the ongoing conflict with Ukraine, Russian officials have issued veiled threats about the possible use of tactical nuclear weapons. This rhetoric has alarmed neighboring countries and NATO allies, especially Germany and Poland, which are taking defensive measures. Local residents near the border fear escalation, and military analysts warn that even the mere mention of nuclear weapons can destabilize the region. Diplomatic channels are open, but trust between parties is minimal.
Thank you, Maria Jose. Dr. Lisa, let's take a step back. Can you provide a broader overview of the nuclear situation globally?
Yeah, certainly. The world's nuclear arsenal is concentrated in the hands of a few key nations. The United States and Russia together they control over 90% of all nuclear weapons in the world. These two nations are followed by China, France, and of course the United Kingdom, which are also recognized as nuclear powers under the Treaty of Non-Proliferation of Nuclear Weapons. Beyond this, we have countries like North Korea, which has openly developed and tested nuclear weapons despite the global sanctions. Israel, for example, is widely believed to possess nuclear weapons, though it has never officially confirmed or denied. Iran's nuclear ambitions remain a contentious issue, with concern of whether its program could shift from peaceful energy purpose to weapons development. Countries like Germany, Japan, and Canada do not possess or have nuclear weapons, but are influential voices in the nuclear disarmament discussion. Latin American countries like Mexico and Colombia, they have taken a strong stance against the nuclear weapons to the Treaty of Tlatelolco, which established the region as nuclear weapon-free zones.
Okay, so it's a complex picture. What about nations like China and India? They have been increasing their military capabilities in recent years.
Yeah, that's correct. Yeah. China is modernizing its nuclear arsenal, though it maintains like a no first use policy. Many claims it will only use nuclear weapons in retaliation. India, for example, and Pakistan, both nuclear neighbors, they are engaged in an arms race fueled by long-standing territorial disputes. The proximity and history of conflict makes Asia a region of significant concern. South Asia, yeah, it's like a region of very significant concern in this issue.
It's clear that the threat is not just theoretical. What steps have been taken internationally to address this?
Yeah, well, there has been several efforts. The NPT, for example, is the cornerstone of nuclear disagreement, aiming to prevent the spread of nuclear weapons while promoting peaceful nuclear energy. Additionally, there's the Comprehensive Nuclear Testament Treaty, CTBT, which prohibits nuclear explosive tests, though it hasn't yet entered into force due to the key nations not ratifying it. On a regional level, treaties like the Treaty of Tlatelolco in Latin America and the Treaty of Rarotonga in the South Pacific have established nuclear-free zones. These agreements show that cooperation is possible, but global disarmament remains elusive due to geopolitical tensions.
Let's circle back to the humanitarian aspect. Maria Jose, what's the mood like among civilians near the conflict zones?
People here are deeply anxious. Many fear the unimaginable consequences of a nuclear strike, and the older generation, in particular, remembers the Cold War and the constant fear of nuclear annihilation. Local officials are distributing information on how to respond to potential attacks, but the reality is grim. No one is truly prepared for the devastation a nuclear weapon will cause.
Thank you, Maria Jose. Dr. Luisa, I have to ask, are you personally in favor of ending nuclear proliferation?
Yeah, absolutely. The world have already seen the catastrophic effects of nuclear weapons in Hiroshima and Nagasaki. The immediate destruction was horrifying, but the long-term consequences for radiation sickness, environmental damage, and generational trauma are equally devastating. Allowing these weapons to proliferate increases the risk of their use either intentionally or accidentally.
Okay, so do you believe there is a realistic solution to the crisis?
There are steps we can take, but it requires collective will. Strengthening international treaties and ensuring accountability through inspections are key. Nations need to commit to transparency and reducing their stockpiles and refraining from modernizing their arsenals. Additionally, promoting dialogue is essential. For instance, recent talks between the United States and China aimed at reducing tensions are a positive sign. The establishment of more nuclear weapon-free zones could also be expanded. Educational public awareness play a role too. Citizens must understand the risk and pressure their governments to act.
Okay, so why, in your view, must nuclear proliferation be stopped?
Because the existence of nuclear weapons undermines global security. They don't prevent wars, they escalate tensions and create an illusion of safety. A single miscalculation or technical failure could result in a catastrophe affecting millions. Moreover, nuclear weapons divert resources away from critical global issues like poverty, education, and climate change. Humanity should focus on building resilience and cooperation, not investing on tools of destruction.
Okay, so Maria Jose, before we wrap it up, any final thoughts from the ground?
Yes, speaking to people here, it is clear that no one wants to live under the constant threat of a nuclear war. And there is a sense of helplessness, but also there is a desire for leaders to step up and prioritize peace over power.
Dr. Lisa, any closing remarks?
Well, the choice is ours. We can continue down this path of fear and destruction, or we can work towards a safer and more stable future. The aim of nuclear proliferation is not just a political goal, it's a moral imperative.
Thank you, Dr. Luisa and Maria Jose, for sharing your insights tonight. It's clear this issue requires urgent global attention. That's all for tonight on Global Insight News. Stay informed, stay engaged, and join us next time.
Of course, thank you for having me.
Yeah, and good night from here.
Okay, so goodbye, everyone.